we start with the two Shanti mantras, prayers for peace, as they say. Peace from what?
Samsara.
Where is samsara? Right here. Right here. So, peace from all three sources, tapatraya, all three sources of disturbance. But really, the primary and the only source of the disturbance is what? From within, adhyatmika, yes. The other two are just mentioned so that you don't have a complex. Occasionally it's nice to point the finger. The rolling, moving finger can keep moving. It can say, oh, it's because of that. It's adhibhautikam. It's not me. It has to be you, Feels good once in a while. Otherwise, one is always feeling upset and whatnot. And so, therefore, the other two are given. And of course, it's always nice to blame Bhagavan, to say that it's all you. It's a good start because that's the start of a relationship. Dysfunctional nonetheless. It is start of some kind of a relationship, which is what all Vedanta is about. It's about relating to that Bhagavan that one wants to see. It's relating to that Bhagavan that one wanna be. So it's the same thing. And so therefore, the Shanti mantras are chanted and they help us to focus. They help us to just live the knowledge. They help us to assimilate. And they help us to concentrate on what really matters. And because when we look at what makes us ashanta, what is ashanta? Disturbed. Yeah. And one finds that those are non-things. Yeah. Those are non-issues most of the time. You can rave and rant about everything. Whatever makes one disturbed is ultimately, according to the Shastra, a non-issue. So then we take care of this non-issue by these prayers, so that we can move on to the issues at hand, right? So this is basically why the Shanti mantra is chanted. And for every Veda, there is a particular Shanti mantra, as you know, and that is part of the tradition, and they have a kind of a synergy. They are all talking about the same things but in different ways. So why do we need two Shanti mantras? Because traditionally we are Yajurvedis, so we chant the Yajurveda Shanti mantra, which is what? Sahana Bhavatu, very good. And then this Upanishad is from Atharva Veda, even better. And therefore we chant the Shanti mantra specific to that particular Veda because it blesses the whole teaching there as well. Om Bhadram Karne Vishnuyama Deva Bhadram Pashye Makshavya Jatra Sthirairangai Stushtvagam Sastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vridhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastaksho arishtanemihi Swasti no brihaspatir dadhatu Om Shanti 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Fifth verse in the second portion and the second subsection. So it's 2 to 5. We were in the middle of this verse. Yasmin Dyav Prithvi Chantariksham.
Yasmin Dyav Prithvi Chantariksham.
Otam Manasah Pranaishcha Sarvaihi.
Otam Manasah Pranaishcha Sarvaihi.
Tamevaikum Janatha Atmanam.
Tamevaikum Janatha Atmanam.
Anyavacho Vimunchatha.
Anyavacho Vimunchatha.
Amritasyaisha Setuhu.
Amritasyaisha Setuhu.
One more time. Yasmin Dyav Prithvi Chantariksham.
Yasmin Dyav Prithvi Chantariksham.
Otam Manasah Pranaishcha Sarvaihi.
Otam Manasah Pranaishcha Sarvaihi.
Tamevaikum Janatha Atmanam.
Tamevaikum Janatha Atmanam.
Anyavacho Vimunchatha.
Anyavacho Vimunchatha.
Amritasyaisha Setuhu.
Amritasyaisha Setuhu.
Yeah, you've seen the first two lines, I think. Yeah, if you don't think the same, please refer to the last class. Simple. So the purport of the first two lines is very, very deep, and the whole mantra is a Mahavakya. What is a Mahavakya? That which shows, displays, and expounds what? The oneness between this miserable being called Jiva and the glorious being called Bhagavan, Ishvara. So Jiveshvarayoho Aikyam Vakyam is equal to Mahavakyam. That which shows or displays or reveals the non-difference between Jiva and Ishvara. You know, Ishvara is all might. I am just a slight, this is what the whole thing is. Or a blight, depending upon one's upbringing. It came in the news a few days back, very sad, but this is what it is. That there was this neglected, hungry child. They raided some house because the neighbors complained. A 4-year-old was found, 3-year-old was found under terrible conditions. Total neglect, no food, malnourished, unclean, and completely just, running around, without any care. And of course, the police took this girl, this small toddler, in custody, and they took the parents, of course, in a different kind of custody. And then they asked her, "What is your name?" And what did she say? "Idiot. My name is Idiot." This is what it is. And it starts so young, because that she was called an idiot than by her name. So she really thought at age 3 that Idiot is my first name. And so like this, the jiva gets strengthened by all such epithets. And one thinks I'm small, I'm a slight, I'm a blight, I'm an idiot, I'm a donkey, This is what the whole the whole conditioning. Conditioning is what makes the jiva, correct? Yeah. So, this, don't think of shampoo and conditioner. Yeah, that's a nice conditioning, you know. This one, that thing, that kind of conditioner, I suppose, makes everything soft. Here it makes one harsh and hardened. And that hardened, calloused individual who has alienated oneself from everything else and alienated oneself from oneself, alienated oneself from the whole, this is what is called jiva. And the journey now is back to Ishvara. Yeah. Why back to Ishvara? Because, you know, back to back, in every birth, I have pulled away by my own ignorance. The force of my own ignorance has made me, you know, take this spoof of the Jagat as real. And when the unreal becomes real, the real becomes unreal, obviously. And so therefore, this kind of going back is very important through this understanding, self-knowledge, Atma Vidya. And the whole trajectory here is concluding the reason why Omkara Upasana was indicated in the previous two verses. Why to meditate upon Om, so that it prepares you for this darshanam. This is darshan, really. Not paying someone to see someone and then sitting and gawking at them. That's not darshan. Yeah. You know. And this frequently people think that if you go sit in front of somebody, then suddenly knowledge takes place. Somehow, even without the teaching, knowledge takes place. How can it take place? No, but I feel good. Yes, you may feel good, because sitting next to a Mahatma, what happens is that, you know, all your own strife, etc., is calmed down for a minute. As long as you're sitting with them, you seem to be okay, but the moment you leave the room, you're not okay. So, as you leave the room, you have to schedule the next darshan for your mental and emotional health. So, what's the difference between going and seeing, you know, a Mahatma periodically or regularly for your mental health, or going and seeing a new movie every Friday when it's released? Same thing. Yeah. Same thing. The first comes under the activity called spiritual, the second under the activity called material. You know, but really speaking, at the end, both of them are same, because they leave you wanting. Because the questing is not understood properly. What is this quest? The quest is as though, and the alienation is actually alien notion. Yeah. It's a notion. And if this is not understood, if the alienation is taken to be real, then it cannot be removed. And if I say it doesn't exist, it's unreal, then what is there to remove? So it has a certain bearing, but only as long as it is powered by ignorance. Here the ignorance removal is the primary activity. So lest one go away thinking, after studying the whole section on Omkara Upasana, on how to meditate upon Om, that this meditation is going to give me moksha. You know, one is wrong. And so here what is talked about is that this is a preparation for this knowledge. And through this knowledge, that oneness is assimilated. That oneness is not established through the knowledge, because it is pre-existing everything else. That oneness is already there. You know, it's like a child who thinks I'm lost when it's not lost. In fact, the children will not say I'm lost. They'll say the parents are lost. Nice little transference going on there. So in a big fair or something, you know, there'll be these children wandering around, and then they are brought to the stage to say, and oh, what happened? You know, where are your parents? I don't know, they are lost. Yeah. They are not lost, they are right there, correct? But in the child's understanding, they are lost. And similarly, the child may be sitting in the living room and the mother or the father may be in the other room. And as long as in the child's awareness the parent is there, then it feels secure. But the moment it forgets that, it doesn't know that they are right in the next room, it will sit and bawl, it will cry, missing the very thing that is right there. Same thing with the jiva, an overgrown baby, that's all. You know. And this is, so therefore, this is a spoof. So the notion that I am separate from everything is handled here through self-knowledge. And the self-knowledge here is given in the first two sentences of the verse, very directly and succinctly. And what is talked about is the fact that all that is here is not outside of your awareness. But how to assimilate this? Does something exist? Does this apple, does this fruit exist? You have to say yes. Don't get all Vedantin on me and say as though this is not the time for that. Yeah. If you say no, then I will have to quickly eat it up. So, to prove you right. So does this fruit exist?
Yes.
Yes, correct. Then the question is, what establishes the existence of this apple? Huh?
The one who sees.
The one who sees it, the observer, is basically ratifying the existence of this apple. Without the observer, apple na. Kashmira phalam na asti. Kashmira phalam is fruit that comes from Kashmir, because that's the only place in all of India that you can grow apple. Yeah, the rest of the places, if you try to grow, you will just be growing, a ball of dough covered in red skin. That's all it is. Very mealy tasting, not fun. But Kashmir, yes. So that's why even from the ancient times this is called Kashmira phalam. So Kashmira phalam asti nava, does it exist or not? The question is, how do you know? I know because I am operating a pramana. And what is the pramana? Sight. I am operating the pramana, the means of knowledge called sight, to establish the existence of this apple. Correct? And if sight is not there, then of course taste is always there. Yeah, all you have to do is jump into it, and then of course it is the tongue advertises that this is an apple. And so this way, this whole thing is very important to understand, is that when I say something exists, that means that the awareness of apple exists. Apple is equal to apple awareness is. Okay? See, so easy. Vedanta is so easy. Flower awareness is. Tree awareness is. And even you can go all the way to forgetfulness. Forgetfulness is. Oh, whose forgetfulness? Unfortunately, my own. What am I saying when I say forgetfulness is? Awareness of forgetfulness awareness is. So when awareness overpowers forgetfulness, all there is awareness. Ignorance is. Ignorance awareness is. Knowledge awareness is. In fact, knowledge is just awareness. So knowledge of apple is awareness of apple. And how it behaves when it blossoms, when it's ripe, when it is a flower, when it is a fruit, when it is ripe, all these things, when it is ready for picking, when to make a pie, all this. Apple knowledge is, meaning awareness is. That's what it is. And then existence is also knowledge. Knowledge is of course knowledge. And how long is this knowledge? Endlessly so. So then how do we know the knowledge is endless? Because apple is, and then what? Apple is not. What happened? It was stolen. It was stolen. Apple goblin came and stole it. That's what, mothers are very good at this in India. The child will want candy and the mother will immediately disappear it and say, the bird took it, the birdie has taken it. Correct? So, apple comes, apple goes. First it is aha, apple, then it is swaha, apple. So from aha to swaha, what happened? Then the layperson is non-Vedantin will say apple is and now apple is not. But the Vedantin will say apple awareness is and then absence of apple awareness is. So the awareness always is. The is never goes away. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot make the is go away no matter how hard you try, no matter what kind of magic eraser you have, you cannot rub away the is. The is that never becomes was is you. That awareness is you. Because what else are you other than awareness? Well, I'm this body. Body awareness is? No, but I'm the mind. You are aware of the mind. So everything just decocts nicely into this espresso called awareness. Yeah. That's why mocha rhymes with moksha. Yeah, there is a reason for that. Everything decocts into this. It's not reductionism. This is not some kind of a reductionism. This is a fact. And this is something which is demonstrable right here, right now. You don't have to, because you happen to be self-lit. Yeah. It doesn't have to be, that's where it is. Awareness is, I am aware of myself and everything becomes evident to this awareness, which is I. The awareness is something that you have to stop. The buck stops there. You cannot say, I am aware of awareness. Because then if you are aware of awareness, then there should be another awareness, and that awareness also then you have to become aware of. And then you aware, then you wear out. There is no aware. It's an infinite regression. No, but I am aware of awareness. That's why I'm calling you self-aware, okay? Yeah. That's what it is. Self-aware means I'm aware of the awareness, but that awareness is myself alone. And that awareness is what is at the root, at the source of all names and forms. The names and forms are just a little foray into this awareness. That's all it is. The names and forms, all the names and forms of the universe are just containers, so to speak, upadhis for this awareness. It's like a tapestry. You embroider the sun on a canvas, on a piece of cloth. You do some nice stitches and you embroider a lovely sun with all kinds of hues of your thread. Then you say, it doesn't look nice just for the sun to be shining, it should be shining on something. Let's have a nice village. So then there are little houses with spires, smoke spires, meaning smoke is the evidence that somebody is cooking there or somebody is warming themselves there. So it's not unoccupied, it's not a ghost town, it's a town full of occupants. And how do you know? You can't open the door and see, it's all embroidery. So you just have a few wisps of smoke coming from the chimney to show that cooking is being done. Pujya Swamiji would always say that a house becomes a home when cooking is done. Yes. Not once a year, and the rest of the time you just put it in the freezer. Every day. Every day you cook something, And does it count if I boil water? Yes. Okay. So, So then here, back to the embroidery, the artist wants to show that there are spires coming because that brings into mind all the imaginary occupants and the children and the parents and the siblings fighting over a toy and the mother saying, just quieten down, I'll buy you one more next time, don't worry, just learn to share. And then, the father disinterestedly looking at the TV or at the paper. All this you can imagine in a typical, kind of a scenario. And then you can imagine cooking taking place or people warming themselves up. But still the picture is not complete. Then you have to have water, because without water there is no life. Along with sun, water is very important. And so then you have a nice brook. And then the fact that it is babbling, you cannot have captions for the brook. So therefore it will be showing some kind of undulating waters, the waters that embroider like this, and some of them like this, in spirals with different hues of blue. And then you have mountains. And the mountains are empty without sheep. Yeah, you have to have sheep. Otherwise, what's the fun of having mountains? In Kashmir, I thought, oh my God, is it snowing on the mountain? But it was just a huge flock of sheep. They turned the mountain kind of off-white. Yeah, and then, sometimes in southern parts of this country, when the cotton crop is there, there is the illusion of snow. Snow in Georgia, how is that? It happens, Rahul was visiting the ashram once, and one day he came running and he said, Ammaji, there is snow. There suddenly overnight it has snow. Of course, he arrived in the night, so he had not seen what was there. I said, it is cotton crop. Back to the embroidery. So then there is, snow-capped mountains or sheep-capped mountains, whatever you want. And then there is waterfalls and whatnot. And then, of course, the roads are there. And on the roads you have bullock cart. And then, what else do you have? You have people going back and forth, carrying things on their heads, firewood, grass, vegetable, basket to take to the market and sell. A wonderful scenery. So there is transaction, there is everything. How to understand the source of it? It's nothing but thread. Various colored threads, and even colored threads are not the reality. The colors are also just mithya. All there is one thread. So you just take it and start pulling, and the sun is undone. And then you take the grey thread and pull, and all the houses are undone. You take the blue thread and pull, river, bye-bye, babbling brook, bye-bye brook. Yeah. Then the vegetable sellers wares, all the cauliflowers. You just take the skins and the cauliflower gone, and then you take the purple skins and the eggplant and the nightshade vegetables gone. And then you take the cream colored skin and the basket itself is gone. Correct? And that way, and then what are you left with is just thread. And that thread is manifest as the fabric of this bucolic village life. And the word Ota-Prota here in the first line or the second line, wherever it occurs, that is what it means. Ota-Prota, that so now replace the thread, the embroidery skein with awareness. So that awareness, taking on as it were various hues and colors, has morphed as though into the sun, into the moon, into all the celestial heavenly bodies, into the houses, into the people occupying the houses, into their minds, into their bodies, into all their activities. When everything, Charatmakam Jagat, this whole universe, starting with this body-mind complex, full of names and forms, is inhabited by, inhering this is just this one skein called the skein of awareness. That's all it is. Ota-Protham. So this can be projected and withdrawn. You get tired of the tapestry, it's just withdrawn. In fact, every night the tapestry is withdrawn, there is a little mini pralaya, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah, what happens? The awareness, the person, the awareness that is not projected. Awareness does not die. The modes of projection go to sleep. That's what it is. So since the means of projection, the mind, goes into a causal state, Awareness simply is in its own glory, all the threads are withdrawn. And the next morning, they magically appear. Correct? So, Ota Protam, and then what completes the picture is that Manasaha Pranaishcha Sarvaihi, don't leave yourself out in this. Your own mind and the prana, which includes the organs of action and the indriyas, the jnanendriyas, the sense organs and the organs of action are also part of this embroidery. So you are not only the observer of this embroidery, you are also given yourself a little body that's running on the road to catch a bus, an elusive bus. The bus of life which is always missed. Yeah. So you are looking at yourself, unsuccessfully trying to catch this bus, which makes you want to say bus, meaning enough, to samsara. Right? Yeah, that's why it's called bus. Bus in Hindi means enough. Enough already. Correct? Alam. And so now, Manasaha, so your own body, mind, sense complex is included in this, tapestry. What is this tapestry? The tapestry of awareness that is morphed into all these colors, all these names and forms, and so realistic looking. Very realistic. Like you go to some of these amusement places, what are they called? Disney something. Disneyland, yeah, Disney World, Disneyland, Disney this, Disney that, and then you'll see the same thing that's happening there. Everything is unreal, but it looks so real. Looks so real, and everything is, ersatz, false, but it looks real. It appears real, and so that appearance is really nothing other than my own awareness of it. It's no different from my awareness of it, and so the whole thing is just that awareness. But it's not enough. That's just part of this teaching. It is, as far as we have come, is called Tvam Pada Vichara. It's the culmination of the understanding of you as awareness. It's a big woo-hoo moment, definitely. I'm not this body, mind, sense complex, I am awareness. But then you can't just go around saying, I'm awareness, I'm awareness, I'm awareness. There is aruchi in that. What is aruchi? Kind of a bland. It needs some salt. It needs a little spicing up. It needs a little dash of garam masala. Because it's not complete. There's something yet waiting, because nobody is happy knowing that I'm just awareness, because then the next question comes, so what? Big deal, I'm awareness. Before I was an idiot, now I'm aware that I'm an idiot. What's the big deal? What is the big deal? What difference is that going to make? It's not going to make any difference. And so, therefore, something else has to happen here. That awareness has to be revealed by the Shastra, of course, by the Guru, by the operating the Shastra as Ishvara. Then you have an nice. That Ishvara, that Ishvaratvam is the desire. Ishvaratvam means the Ishvarahood is the desire. The desire is not for awareness. Nobody has a craving, I want to be awareness. No. Big deal. In fact, sometimes the people who have early traumatic injuries in early childhood or something like that, and if you just stop your awareness, then it's like an out-of-body experience. I'm already gone. This is what I used to do when I was being traumatized as a child. I used to go far away from it and say, okay, this is not happening, this is not me, not me, not me, not me. And so it became a pattern of dissociation. So this is very dangerously, it is not dissociation. Knowing that I'm awareness is certainly not dissociation, but it comes, dangerously close to that if one is not understanding it properly. One is just, gone. And then so therefore what? that awareness is actually a conscious being, because awareness cannot just be, because the question is, where is this awareness? Correct? It cannot be hanging, oh, there goes a piece of awareness. Knowledge, awareness has to always be resting in a conscious being. That's why the word Yasmin, in whom. So the locative case is very important grammatically, because in whom all this is as though located. And the word as though becomes important, otherwise non-duality, waves goodbye, because then you have two things, locator, located, correct? Yeah, see, this is so much, you have to, so many add-ons here. You have to keep saying this, because otherwise one will say, it's very convenient to say, in Bhagavan, in Ishvara, everything rests, including my body, mind, sense, complex, including my prana, including my organs of actions, including everything. And then I feel safe because Ishvara is rocking the oceans, rocking me, and rocking everything, Hush, shabai, hush. And this is what the whole thing is. But this again is not moksha. Why? Because Ishvara is seen as the locator in whom everything is located. And so now this is called Advaita Hani, a loss of the understanding of that oneness. Non-duality, takes a hike, because here they took, whenever you say locative case, and you say that phale bijam asti, the seed is in the what? Fruit, correct? Phale. So now how many things are there? Two. So the fruit becomes a locator, or the place in which the seed is located. So likewise, in this awareness, everything is located. So then we have two things. The thing that is located, even if all those things are just made into one, that thing, the things that are located, and one who is holding on to those things. No. So this location is also as though. So the Yasmin means, quickly you have to say Yasmin Iva, as though. Iva is again a wonderful Sanskrit word, indispensable for the Vedanta. Everything is Iva, 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 Iva. Guruhu Iva, Shishyaha Iva, Jnanam Iva, yes. Because here we are trying to say, oh, I don't have this knowledge, I have to gain this knowledge, and I have ignorance. Yeah. So like this, all this is a spoof. Iva. So Yasmin, in which all that we know, Vyauhu, the heavens, as I told you last time, the heavens are very important, because the heavens are, they are the driving force of all religion. All the religions are glossy brochures for heaven going. Travel brochures. You go to a travel agent, a kind of an endangered species right now, because everybody, likes to do their own bookings. And but let's say you have a complicated vacation, whatever trajectory, and you want to go. You go to the travel agent, first they will say sit down. At least in the olden days, they used to give you these glossy brochures where everything except two blue chairs on a blue beach with white sand, everything else had been photoshopped. All the bodies in bikinis and burkinis and all kinis, and all the bodies have been photoshopped and removed, and all the other hotels have been removed. All you have is a stretch of white sand and blue beach and blue chairs and a nice white umbrella to match the sand, and two suggestive chairs with two suggestive drinks which have their own umbrellas. Don't ask me why, but and then this is all you see, and immediately you say, oh, this is for me and my Madhu. What is Madhu? honey. Yes. So this is for me and Madhu. And because in Atlanta we are doing Madhu Vidya. Sure, that's what it is. And so this is just for me and my significant loved one. And all we have to do is pay this fellow and then go and occupy those chairs. When you go there, you barely, you have to decide whether or not to go to the emergency room because you have a heart attack upon landing at this beach. Yeah, you have to imagine the water because it's just bodies everywhere. Yeah, there's bodies on the beach. You have to just sort of assume, you have to do arthapatti that there is water. Anumana, you have to do a multi-step inference that water asti because you certainly don't see it. Yeah, sand asti, another anumana because the bodies have covered everything. And what the bodies have not covered, the buildings have covered everything else. Correct? And then, and then one is disappointed. This is what I suppose heaven is also like, overcrowded. And so the heaven becomes important because whenever this life starts to look bleak, which is every day, and then, you want something to look forward to. Like during the week, you have the weekend to look forward to, right? And then after working the whole year, you have the 2 weeks of vacation to look forward to. After working the whole life, you have retirement to look forward to. But that's not enough. Something else is needed to look forward to, and that frequently becomes heaven, which all religions, tout as a wonderful resting place. Except even in the Hindu tradition, we have heaven. But what kind of a heaven is it? It's a temporary resting place. Yeah, resting place for your laurels. Yeah, and where you go and you have, I suppose the word laurels, resting upon your laurels, came from the Caesar's time. And the laurel leaves were strung together like a wreath, a crown. Yeah, and you should not go to bed with them. That's the whole idea. Because they're very prickly. You have to take them and put them, on your place where you keep all the bedside things and then go to bed. So resting upon your laurels means becoming very complacent, right? And so the heaven here is a very powerful motivator for life. And it's also a powerful, what is the word I'm looking for? It's a powerful way that assuages the desire for something permanent. But heaven cannot be permanent. If it's other than you, it cannot be permanent. It is just one more little skein, of some world in the clouds. And you remove the skein, and cloud 9 also unravels. Cloud number 9 unravels. Everything unravels. So Yasmin Vyauhu, Prithvi, the heavens and the earth and all these places of transaction for the punyas and papas, running around, all the places of transaction. So these are all kshetras for transaction, and all of them fold up, all of them are just a projection of which Purusha, Adi Shankara is going to say in the Bhashya, which Purusha, which Bhagavan, and because I said this awareness is now being shown as Ishvara, and because that is being referred to in line number 3 as Tameva Janatha. Janatha means Janita. May you know, please know. Tameva, only that. And how many awarenesses? Ekam Ishvara, one, non-dually one. Just know that one. And then nothing else is required. No other action is required of you. Sometimes you go and say, you're trying to, negotiate some deal, buy a house or sell a house or something. And they'll say, okay, everything else is done. All that remains to be done is sign on the dotted line. No other action is required of you. Here also, just know this being in whom the awareness rests. Okay, big deal. I know some being who's sitting somewhere and in whom all awareness rests. What am I going to do with that? Now I'll have another complex. No? No. Know that being as you. That's the whole idea. Know that being in whom all awareness rests as you. Because we've already demonstrated it's no longer, away, it's never away from you. It was never away from you. Now that you know this, it's no longer alienated from you. You are not alienated from it, so it is just you. So know this being as yourself alone. And that being is you. This is why it is a Mahavakya. Tameva ekam janatha. How do I know it? Atmanam eva janatha. Know it as yourself. Know it as yourself. Because there is nothing else to know, nothing else to do after this. And this itself becomes a deterrent. I want to put off self-knowledge because after that there is nothing. So let me put it off. It's not like a child finishing a cookie. I'll save a little bit for tomorrow. No, chocolate bar. And after that there is no more enjoyment because this chocolate has to last. And so if you see children, they keep nibbling to savor and to extend as much as possible the enjoyment. But here, the enjoyment is you. There is no meant. There is only enjoy. And enjoying is that Swarupa, which is not based on the object of awareness. It's an enjoyment that is sahaja, that is spontaneous, and that is based on itself. Sve mahimni tishtati. Lives, stands, abides in its own glory. What? The awareness. The awareness is that which abides in its own glory. It doesn't need a movie. It doesn't need to go shopping. It doesn't need some kind of an encounter of the third kind in order to be alive, in order to be manifest, in order to be blooming. It is free of all sorrow because there is nothing that is impeding it, because everything is it itself alone. If everything is it, where is the sorrow going to come from? Sorrow also is an entity other than it, and that there is nothing other than it. So the sorrow is also a spoof. It cannot sit. There is no place. Then why do you say it's all joy? Because that is its Swarupa. It revels in its own glory. Like the child who asked the question, we all meditate upon Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva is always in meditation. Who is Lord Shiva meditating upon? You have to say himself, his own glory. So that's what the whole thing is. There's nothing to, sorrow comes from a sense of incompletion. And the sense of incompletion comes from seeing that there is something competing or coming in my way of being complete and full. Somebody else is inhibiting this completion, coming in my way. This used to be like that. In the ancient days, don't think that everybody was very sattvic. Somebody would try to publish, somebody would try to write a book, and then the jealous person would leave the goats, because the palm leaf manuscripts, Some goats, the goats who were nicely tied in the pen, all you have to do is open the gate, and the goats come near the manuscript and assimilate the manuscript in its entirety. So what do you do? This is all there. So that is the, and so if somebody's, manuscript was undercut by the goats, let out by the rivals, then the person will be sad. Oh, I had written this, but this is what happened. But here, There is no cause for that sadness. No goats also awareness, and then nothing to do, nowhere to reach out to, nobody undercutting my efforts, no pressure to be better than someone else, no pressure to shine like the star or the sun, because the star, sun, moon is all folded up into all these skeins these skeins of awareness. There's nothing other than this awareness. So it's found that the quest, the search has finally found its resting place in understanding this oneness between oneself and Ishvara. Nothing more to seek. Oh, but then what do I do upon waking up? Because this becomes a very important question. People say, I want to put off this. It's like people saying, I want to put off retirement because what will I do after the job is done? So here also I want to put off this knowledge because what will I do upon waking up, because that is very dismal to think about. There is nothing to do. Oh my God. But think of all the reasons, because you see, one is so vitiated, one is not able to imagine even a different scenario. Think of all the reasons and all the ways in which activity takes place. Activity takes place because there is a certain frenetic things. Either you are trying to maintain something that you have started, or you are trying to gain something new, or you are trying to ward off something new or old that's coming into your life. So it's all yoga kshema pursuits. Apraptasya prapanam, to gain what I don't have, to get rid of what I don't want, and to protect what I have, and to retain what I want, all these things. Praptasya rakshanam, these become the impetus for daily activity. As soon as the eyes open, the first thought is what? What do I have to do? Have to do. That's the thing. What do I have to do? And there is a big list. So many have-tos. And even if one were to say, no, I don't have to do anything, but I have to take care of the family. Well, the family is a product of your own choices. So that is part of retaining what you have. So you have to do that. No, but that time I wanted them, now I don't want them. What should I do? That you have to work out the karma there. There is something to be worked out. No, but when can I leave the family? The day you tell me I don't want to leave them. That's when you can leave. So this is what the whole thing is. It's all action is coming from a pressure, an impetus to achieve something, to be complete, to stand out, to be whole, to be free. All action is because of that. But then when I understand that the action doesn't give the freedom which is already there and which is hidden from me, eclipsed from me by my own ignorance, then my actions come to an end. First by, focusing on the knowledge. And then when the knowledge takes place, there is nothing I have to do, which means what? There's only things that I want to do. Which is very nice, which is very different from waking up from a sense of incompleteness. And so, therefore, here it's the resting place of all desires, all quests, all requests, all incompletion. When one understands, when I understand that this awareness is the truth of the whole universe, and that awareness rests as Ishvara, rests in me as Ishvara, as the truth of the whole universe. So this knowledge that is resting in this conscious being cannot be other than me alone. And then the last line is very interesting. It says that Anya vacho vimunchatha. We'll see just the translation and then we'll see the meaning in the next class. Anya vachaha vimunchatha. Meaning, basically, the Upanishad is asking you to stop talking. Yeah. politely saying, shut up. You know, yeah, shut up. He doesn't even say meditate. Shut up. Keep quiet. Because the meditation is until this knowledge. After this knowledge, there is no need to even meditate. Once this has been understood, shut up. Anya vacho vimunchata. Polite way of saying, keep quiet. I've heard enough of you. I'm not getting anything. I want. I don't have. Shut up. I've heard enough of you. Keep quiet. Why? Why should I keep quiet? Amritatvasya esha setuhu. Because this knowledge is the setuhu. Setuhu means what? Bridge. Yeah. Bridge, Iva bridge. Okay, it's like a bridge. It's as though bridge. To what? Amritatvaya setuhu. Amritatvasya setuhu. It is the bridge of immortality. So the bridge of freedom from samsara, in other words, moksha bridge. Yes. Moksha bridge over the river of samsara. How to get on the bridge? Stop talking. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. How do you like the new classroom?
Beautiful.
Yeah, give Janani a nice hand. A few more tweaks.
Yes.
I'm going to do like this. So we save, because see, we became experts in saving space sitting over there. So I'm going, and which is, so we'll try to do a few things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Short break, we'll come back. So as to not come back later.
And on live stream, they can see how the sound is. So if anybody's watching on live stream, if you can just type and let us know how the sound is, that'd be great.
Fancy now.
Hello Faith, what's happening over there? Oh, nice flower. Sunflower.
Sunflower.
That's all the way out, aren't they?
They're on their way out, yeah, they're all hanging.
Yes.
You can tell it's end of August.
Yeah.
But then there's little ones actually, so the bigger ones are kind of like, and the little ones are like,
My turn.
my turn.
Nice. How are things with the family?
Moving along. I'm
Good to know.
still standing.
You're still struggling. So, celebrate. Celebrate every moment.
Yes.
I'm coming there.
Oh, tomorrow? No.
Yeah.
For
I
the
think tomorrow.
Krishna.
Yeah. Is that tomorrow?
Yeah. Is that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I'll come there for a short time.
Okay.
So I will inform with this that I'll come around 3:30 to 4 towards
It's
the
going
end.
to be so hot out there at that
It's going to be
time.
hot?
Well,
It's going to be cooler tomorrow.
is it going to be cooler? Okay. Just that time of day.
It's okay. Chalta hai. Whatever it is, we will celebrate.
And the child should be back. Amrita has been at camp for 2 weeks. Is coming back today from Seattle, but I'm not sure their dad is dragging them. I don't know if they'll be in town, but hopefully they should.
Okay.
Be.
That'll be nice to see that.
Yeah, yeah, for me too.
Yes. Something came. What is that?
Crumbs.
Yeah, washed?
Wash.
Washed?
I'll wash again. Yeah, I washed, but I can wash again.
That's it. If it's washed, then you don't need to wash.
We picked them up yesterday.
Plums have a certain coating on them.
Yeah, they do.
This is the juice you gave yesterday?
No, that was fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah. It's a beautiful piece. You like your work?
Yeah, I'm still getting set up and ready to get
You're still
started.
getting settled, you said?
Just set up with everything I need. I haven't actually done any real work yet.
Hmm?
I haven't actually done any real work yet. I'm still getting set up. It's a nice group of people, interesting work.
Is it a big place?
Medium size.
How many people there are?
I'm not sure.
That many?
Well, I haven't met everybody yet. It's not huge. It's not like Microsoft or something. There are probably 20 people in my group.
That's a good size.
Yeah.
The Ishpandis didn't come. So they don't come to this class.
This can go off. This time.
Yeah, this we can easily put it off. Yeah.
I don't know if these people can hear online. They haven't written anything. But they're staying there, so I'm assuming that
How many people there?
there's 3.
Fancy resources.
They all
But
take it afterwards.
mhm,
They all take the classes
afterwards. So
After the class, you find that there is.
it goes up
Yeah.
just like this. Yeah. Actually, I called some people because I wanted to try and test this before. Nobody was picking up. So I'm assuming. But it's nice because you can adjust the volume on this one, which we had a hard time doing before on the old one. But this one you can adjust it up so it's really, and you can actually get feedback about how much is going on right now. So that is nice.
I didn't follow, but I'm sure you made sense. What is it about the volume?
So the volume, you can tell here how much it's coming out.
Yeah, that's
it's
what
nice. And
fantastic.
this is what moves,
Yeah.
so you can show them all around, and it just
Yeah,
kind
you
of
can
goes
shift
through.
like that if you want to show some
Yeah.
other area. Very nice, wonderful.
So it's
Awesome.
kind of a funny thing.
Very high tech. Heavily high tech.
So is that all right now, Swaminiji, or the tail?
You know, I don't know how I had it there. I'll have to think about it. Right now, we'll just leave it be.
I think the mic was on the other side as well, coming off that same side.
No, I think the mic was on this side.
Oh, it was on the same side as the table, and the table's on the same side
Really?
as it was, yeah.
Oh, okay, then we can try that.
Uh-oh.
And this was on this side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the mic and the table were on the same side.
Oh, I think that's, yeah. Yeah, the table was over here. And that's the plug, the connection power for the computers on the other side of the computer.
Oh, that's okay.
We have relocated it to the other side. There is a box or
Yeah, I
Waste.
see, but she brought something here. That box is wonderful.
We could
spoke
put
up
the-
unnecessarily.
We could put that mic over there right now, Swami. You just put it in the corner and it would just come over. You want to try that?
Sure.
Okay,
Is it off?
yeah, so we just actually, you don't even have to do that. Oh, I guess.
Are you
Yeah.
not moving the whole base?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, I can make the
And then
Shall
this
we
can
move
go,
this
yeah,
over
this can go a little bit on this side. Nice, not so much. Yeah. And put this table further back.
Okay.
Same place where it is, but just back.
And then we'll loop around the bar for a bit.
Yeah, I'll take that. 1 second,
Is that the same mic?
No, it's
It's
a,
all different.
it's a different one. It's
Yeah,
not
let
the
me
same
see
width.
it, get it now. Otherwise, you
It's on the
can
Okay,
computer,
so-
Swami,
Yeah.
which is on that
send
one.
it to me now. It doesn't matter, send it right now. Okay. Oh, that's
how it was, okay? I think that's, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's how I think it was. That way the space is saved. Yeah, it makes,
Can we move the table a little bit?
it's perfect, because then I can see the time, I have the pots.
Yeah, that's okay.
So it's perfect. Good. That really nice size. I like the idea of the banner, I just didn't get round to it.
Yeah, because you can't put it outside the house, may as well put it inside.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The one in
I thought
What she wants to do is put a board outside, but then that will cause, you know.
Yeah, that will cause some, could cause. It'd be nice to cover up that corner though, with one of those retractable ones, I think.
What are you trying to cover up?
There's all the wires, there's some
The
wires
wires.
still in the corner.
But it does not
It doesn't come in the way. Yeah, nobody even sees it. You just put some cloth, you use some of those curtains. In fact, we can even have a curtain in the middle. In fact, see
I think it
these,
would look good. Okay, yeah.
you know, from that window to that window, just have a curtain, one long curtain.
I would, in the winter would be bad.
People on the other front.
I don't want to do it in the summer because it's the cooling system in the summer to open up these windows and with the curtain there, the
No,
cooling.
they can
will
open
come
up.
in.
You can pull the curtain.
You don't have to not open them, you can open up. You just have put a rod there, put a, holder there and have a long rod and just cover up the back with all the wires and everything. You can open, there'll be many curtains, so you can open
Oh, so
them
you
up.
can just put something
Yeah,
inside.
and you can open the window even with the curtain closed.
What color?
What color? Any color. Orange is nice. Orange is nice. Blue is nice. Yellow is nice. Any color. You want blue? You want blue?
So there was some blue before.
Yeah, they didn't like that blue.
Oh.
It was more of a dusty blue.
They said that it looked washed out.
Yeah. You have something bright like this orange. And that way, it will be, even this will not be seen in the adobe.
Right.
Why is this yellow? This is yellow. Ah, okay, this is selected.
There's a lot of new on the live stream website as well too. So
Okay, Laurie is in Portland. She's coming tomorrow.
so now
So we don't even need the snowball just here.
no, Swamiji, it makes it worse.
Wonder why?
There's something to do with, so we've been in the back side of that, and there was some codec thing, it's called, which removes all of the,
Codec.
yeah, and it removes, it works a bit like one of these things.
Everybody has come back on their own for the most part. Is this camera blocking? Okay, put it closer here. Perfect. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Shanti. Anya vajo vimunjatha means, what does it mean? Stop talking. First meaning. We have to look at it, at this line from many different levels. At the very first level, it's just to stop talking. Because speech originates where? In the mind. You know, and in a mind that is restless and full of wants, there is a lot to talk about, correct? Oh, I didn't get this, I wanted that, but I didn't have it. So some kind of vak will be like this. You know, I tried my best, but I couldn't do this. No matter how much I strive, I don't get this. That is one kind of talk. Another kind of talk is empty noise to drown out the want. Do you know what happened yesterday? Oh, this is what happened, and this is what I did, and this is where we went, and this is what we did. And oh, this is just wonderful. I went on holiday. You didn't go on holiday? Too bad. And the person who just went to a tanning booth and then wants to talk like I went on holiday. This is the proof, you know, yeah. All nice and fried, crisp, like a pakoda, I have come back. Meaning I have had so many hours in the sun, stocked up on my vitamin D, D3, full of D3, and look at you, you're all bleached, and I'm nice, I'm a nice, you know, holiday returned pakoda, and I have come here. Where did you go? I went here. You know, was just lying on the beach. Did all these things. This is a kind of this vak, this kind of talk is a detraction, detracting from the issues at hand. This is one kind, another kind of talk. The third kind of talk is based on the fact that one's life is not worth living. So I'm going to focus all my speech on the outside, on other people. What did you do? Where are you going? Such people are called quintessential interrogators. You know? So, somebody asked me, list all the places you have gone in 2016. I said, why? You know, what is going to be achieved? What is going to be achieved by that? And then, so they become such talk, and the owners of such talk are interrogators, constantly interrogating. It's like bouncing a ball, you know, just deflecting, looking at all the other sores so that I don't have to look at the hurt which is within me, the hurt of feeling alienated from myself. So you put the other person in a corner and turn the tables on them and then you focus on them. That's some of the talk. Then there is another kind of vak. We'll just stay in the safe zone. We'll discuss things which belong to neither you nor me, because both of us are miserable and there's nothing to talk about. So instead, let us talk about the presidential candidates. There's a lot to talk about. Oh, you know what he said, you know what she said, you know, and it's a whole treatise on he said, she said, she said, this one, that one. And then, you know, this thing happened, and then, oh, the campaign, and oh, the people, and what's wrong with the people, how can these nominees exist, and what's wrong, you know. And each one will defend their things, even though religion and politics are not safe topics, but, you know, they are safer than me. So let us indulge in them. This is all Anya Vak. Anya means other than Atma. You see the first meaning. Anya, Anatma. But didn't you say Anatma is also Atma? Yes, but do you know that? No. Then keep quiet. Just listen. So, Anya means other than focusing on what is the situation in hand, where is the pain occurring, where is the blister. And that is what needs to be attended to. And that is this feeling that I'm all wrong and I'm you know, disconnected from everything and everyone. I'm all alone and everything is out to get me. This is the hurt. This is the pain called ignorance. And instead of focusing on that, the words try to either be, you know, they are words of denial. I'm okay, everything is fine, the problem is with you. Or they are words of distraction. Let's go to the mall and then after that let's go to the ball. You know. Or they are words of deflection. Let's discuss something else. Let's put you on the spot or put somebody else on the spot so that as long as I'm not on the spotlight, everything else is okay. These are the words. Then there are words of conflict. Conflict-ridden words that cause himsa, pain to others, that cause sorrow to others. And the owner of such words, the deployer of such words, does not really enjoy using them. Nobody wants to hurt anybody, really, think about it. But then why do the hurts take place? Why do such words get indulged in not just one time, but repeatedly? Why? They get indulged in repeatedly because, you know, I cannot bear my own pain. That's all it is. So there is a connection between hurting others and having this unbearable source of pain which I cannot have a handle on, and so I assuage that hurt by targeting others and feeling targeted. So that those are other kinds of vak. And then what else is there? You know, vaks of nothingness. You know, it's like one example is just, it's like, you know, the British people discussing weather. You know. That's all it is. And everything, you know, and in England it's very interesting because here if you ask the question, how are you? What is the answer? Fine, correct? Yeah. Meaning don't ask me anything more, this is enough, fine. It's just a polite answer to a polite question in a kind of a crowded place or busy place where everybody's doing their own thing. How are you doing? Fine. And in England you ask the question, how are you doing? They don't even say fine. They ask you back the same question, how are you doing? How do you do? How do you do? And it goes on like this. They hide behind the questions. And then of course, oh, beautiful day, isn't it? Yes, isn't it? Every walk ends with a question. This is British talk. Yeah. You know, for the most part, everything ends in a question mark. You know. And that is to avoid looking at the original question. And so you discuss banal things like weather and, you know, things like that endlessly. And in this way, so all the vak, the speech is used up. Speech is tired, you know. Speech is used up trying to just, you know, keep the hurt at bay. Then there is the figurer outer vak, the one who says, I know that I need to understand Brahman. Let's figure out Brahman with a measuring tape. Let's measure Brahman. What are the vital statistics? That is what is called, right? Yeah. What is the height, the weight, and everything? What are the measurements of Brahman? Let's measure up Brahman. Let's describe Brahman. Let's just give it a color, give it a voice. The Vak is going to be all powerful because it's going to describe Brahman. Is it? No. It cannot objectify Brahman because it's you. Awareness, that which objectifies everything else, is, incapable of itself being objectified. Yatvo vacho nivartante apraapya manasa saha. So the words trotted off along, hand in hand, along with the mind, skipping along the way, saying we are going to the doors of Brahman and getting a hang of how big it is and where it exists and what it looks like. We are going to bring back this knowledge. And the Vak said to the mind, to the Manas, are you coming along or what? And the Manas nodded, yes, I'm coming too. So both of them went hand in hand. Happily they went, sadly they returned. Yataha yasmat karanat, from which causeless cause, vacho nivartante, the words beat a retreat from which, along with the mind. So the drooping words, how when you slow down the recording, so the drooping, slowed down, dejected, rejected words came along with a depressed mind that wanted to stop at the pharmacy for its Prozac because it was just so dejected. This is how they came back. Why? Unable to objectify that which doesn't need to be objectified because it's you. I told you are self-lit, like an isotope, except much nicer. You are self-aware in a non-radioactive way. Yeah, you are aware of yourself. You are the source of all light of awareness, all light of knowledge. And then everything becomes evident to you, but you are not evident as an object. You cannot be evident as an object, but you are evident to yourself as the subject. What more is needed? Where is the role of the mind? Where is the role of the words? So therefore the words have to just sit down, go to bed, put a pacifier on the mouth where the words are coming from. Because this is what it means. First meaning, anya vacha vimunchatha. But here there is a caveat. What's the caveat? Silence is Atma. Whenever you are silent, Atma is. As soon as you open your mouth, Atma goes. So therefore what? Guru says, be. You can't even talk like that. Be in silence. Be in silence, Guru. If there is a Guru who says that, that means he or she is tired of the students and wants a little respite. So gave the directive, shut up, keep quiet. And you will see Atma. Because Atma only shines in silence. But Atma is not opposed to anything. So whenever words come, Atma goes. Whenever silence is there, Atma reigns. What kind of an Atma is it? You can no longer say that it is without an end and it is all pervasive and it is everything. Because it is opposed to silence. Already there is duality. There is Atma and words. The two don't get along. Atma and Vak are opposed to each other. They are fighting. Whenever Vak comes, Atma goes. When Vak goes, Atma comes. Not possible. So therefore, this is not the place to go. When you say that words are useless, that doesn't mean you stop deploying them. So the words deployed in a particular way, in keeping with Shruti and Yukti, in keeping with one's own logic and the teachings, they unfold not the Atma, because the Atma is already blossoming as you. They unfold the inhibiting factors and remove those inhibiting factors. And thereby the Atma is, as it were, as though discovered, recovered, recognized. That's what it is. So it's not that the Atma had gone missing. No, the Atma has as though gone missing, just like the eclipse. Rahu grastha divakarendra sadrusho maya samachhadanat sannatra karanepa samharanato yo bhut sushuptah puman pragasvap samete prabodha samaye yah pratyabhijnanate. Where does this verse come from? I'd like to know. Dakshinamurti Stotram. Tasmai Shri Ekamaridam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Good job, wonderful. So, Rahu Grastha Divakara Indu Sadrishaha. So, like even the Indu, the moon, which is, grasta, which becomes like the shadow cast on the sun. The reflection of the moon on the sun is the presence of this Rahu. Whether the sun or the moon, both are eclipsed, one by the earth, one by the moon, like this. So the eclipsed planet is no longer a source of light. Why? Because this shadow has come, and the ignorance is like this shadow which is removed by the distillation of the words from the Upanishads, handled properly by someone who can teach, who comes from a sound lineage, who does not distort the message of the gurus and the parampara. So this is what the whole thing is. So the knowledge is understood in this particular way, and so for that reason, what one has to do is, see that the words have a specific role. The words are harnessed in a particular way and deployed in a particular way, not to show the Atma, but show quote unquote, but to remove the inhibiting factors, because the Atma, you see, you are it, so you see it in all its glory. Right now also you see it, but not in all its glory. There is an inhibiting factor there. So the words, remove the inhibiting factors. So when the words came back dejected, trying to understand Brahman, trying to understand Atma, they were told, there is a role for you, don't be disheartened. The words cannot be the master of which, but the words are the servant of which, Atma. That is what it is. They are in service of the Atma. They cannot master the Atma and show that this is, then otherwise the Atma will become dependent upon words. So which is greater, Atma or words? Words become greater. So the mind and the words are they first go off thinking that they are the masters, and then come back ready to become the hired help of the Guru and the Shastra. So they become, they come to a lowly place of employment, and they are harnessed, they are just little gophers for the teacher. And so the teacher deploys the words exactly as their teacher did, all the way to Lord Shiva or Narayana, and then the knowledge comes. So the words, it's not that Vacho Vimunchatha, it doesn't say. What does it say? It doesn't say Vacho Vimunchatha. What does it say? What does it say? Anya Vacho Vimunchatha. Anya means other than these words that are deployed by the Guru, by the Shastra, to get rid of this eclipse of ignorance that is inhibiting you from seeing and enjoying your own glory, all other words can be happily given up. In other words, Upanishad is not asking you to shut up. It's asking you to only talk Vedanta. Eating, sleeping, snoring, talk Vedanta. Yes. This is a very good discipline called Vak Tapas. Try it at home, And doesn't mean that you have to memorize all the, memorize the Upanishad. And then, the significant other is saying, shall we have lunch? And you just start belching out, Kene shitam preshitam patatimana. That's not what talking Vedanta means. Yeah. Talking Vedanta means you can't talk Vedanta if you are not in that awareness. Yeah. So the thing is, make it a primary preoccupation so that you're singing it, talking it, eating it, discussing it, in that sense. So talking Vedanta means talking oneness. And, so it's oneness even in the family life, in the situation, in the everyday situation. Reproducing that oneness, which already exists, which is latent, which is eclipsed. So here is one person who has come out of that eclipse and who can help others to come out of that eclipse too without making it a big, deal. So if somebody says at home, what shall we have for lunch? You can't say lunch is mithya. You say, yeah. Only you should be seeking Brahman. Shame on you. Anya vacho vimunchata. You'll never get moksha. Yeah. So it's rather than, it's rather deploying the words in a peaceful way, backed by your understanding of this oneness, so that the other person cannot but be moved. And you see, you cannot say that people are not interested in Vedanta. That is not, that even though it looks like that, that's just an apparent reality. It's not the truth. If someone says, I don't have the desire to learn, that means they don't know what they're learning. They don't have the understanding of it. Because this is really the only desire. The only desire is to be free from the eclipse. And this, when I understand that this is the only way of being free from the eclipse, then of course I will desire it. So obviously there is some sadhana sadhya connection that has been ruptured there, which needs to be reconnected. But in a number of people who are not exposed to this knowledge, this connection doesn't even exist. Forget reconnected, doesn't even exist. So with that, what you have to do is you have to, deploy the words in such a way that you are just living in your own glory. And then what happens is that this is a glory that is catching because it's the ultimate. It's the ultimate glory, it's the only glory, and it belongs to the self. And the self being one, this is a catching glory. How come you're always so happy? They may ask. Just smile. Don't say, that's because I study Vedanta and you don't. That's not what to do. Smile. It's about deploying the words graciously, mindfully, compassionately, with the compassion directed at oneself and others. That's what it is. Tempting as it is to say, you will also know why I'm so happy if you come to classes. No. So that's what it is. Anya vacho vimunchata. So since the vak arises in the mind, all other thoughts are also given up other than my desire to learn. And if the desire is not there, the time is spent reconnecting the reason for this low mumukshutvam. Flickering mumukshutvam. Why is it there? That's because there is an inhibiting factor that has to be loved up, that has to be taken care of. Back to Omkara Upasana, back to reconnecting with the reason why I came to study in the first place. Back to the truth of my own self, which is very dear to me, and if it is not dear to me, there is a disservice that I am doing to myself. To see all that, that is where the preoccupation is. That is where the time is spent. That is how the time is spent. That is how the words are deployed. So the Upanishad in its very direct way says, Anya vacho vimunchatha. Doesn't mean you give up speech altogether, although that would be nice. It has a few blessings, because if somebody in the community, in the family, in your life is all riled up, if you stop talking, it doesn't escalate. It's wonderful, And so that has its benefits. We are not talking of maunam, but more of a vak tapas. So here is one of the unusual verses where the sadhana and the sadhya are given in the same line. So giving up other forms of speech is the way and is the means and is the end, both. The end also, when you know this, what is there to talk about? You don't talk. And the means are also, the more you give up all this distracted, chit-chat, then, when you give up chit-chat, chit shows itself. Yeah. Unless the chat is only about chit, then it is okay. So, this is the whole thing. It's actually very, very marvelous. Very marvelous. The whole thing is so marvelous. Is that when you reduce these distractions, which are through the mind and through the outlet called speech, then there is more of an abiding into yourself. And whatever pain is there comes to the fore to be seen, to be greeted, to be loved up. And whatever I don't understand, all the doubts, the vaguenesses, the errors come to the fore to be attended to. And this is how I spend my life rather than empty noise all the time, going like this. And so that is what is the first, we have just seen the first meaning of Anya Vajo Vimunchatha. Then the second meaning is all other, what is it called? Views of how to gain moksha are necessarily curbed and suspended. Otherwise, this way will not shine. It's like we are sitting in the airplane and then there is always this announcement that if the electricity fails, what do they say? The paths will light up. Yeah, they will light up, leading you to the exit. Correct? So don't worry, even if the electricity, if there is smoke in the cabin, electricity fails, then we have alternative lights at the foot somewhere of the seats that will lead you to the exit. So this is the path that will lead you to the exit from samsara. That's what it is. It's a lit path. And already the whole place is smoky. You think you're flying, but you're sinking. And there is no time to argue and talk and, you can't sort of think, where will I land? Is this an auspicious place where the body will land? All these things you cannot think. You have to think of how to save myself, how to go to the exit, the nearest exit. And then you don't try to say, I don't like this path. That is not the time to say, this path is not nice. Yeah, why? Why that's because it's the only path. It's not that there are 3 paths lighting up in red, blue and green and you choose that one of them. No. You can't, it's the only way. You cannot say, oh, this is so fanatic. To get out of this plane, this is the only way. Yes. It is the only way because that is the nature of the imprisonment. The nature of the imprisonment is that you are in a long tin can. And that's really what it is. With a few holes. And the holes are now, the paths are showing the place to that holes. Yeah. There's only one path that connects all these things. You put yourself in a tin can, and then this is the only way to get out. Same thing here. Because why is this the only method? This is the only method because there is the feeling that I'm bound is illusory. It's not real. It's an apparent reality if it is not the truth. So a person who is bound will thrash about trying to free themselves. A person who has the feeling that I'm bound, no matter how much you thrash about, it does not detract from the fact that you're not bound. So the person who's just struggling, why? Because, look at all these ropes, does not require a pair of scissors, they require a psychiatrist. Yeah. Vedanta is super psychiatry. That's all it is. Because this is a collective hallucination. That I'm bound and I'm struggling is a collective hallucination which is removed through the exposure to these teachings. It's a simple fact, The only reason why one is not certified insane is because everyone else is also having the same hallucination. Yeah. So you have the feeling this is the new normal. This is the new normal because there's nothing wrong. Everybody is participating in the same illusion. So same delusion. So what's wrong? That is what is wrong. Everything is wrong. So here, this is what is called super therapy. The Guru and the Shastra becomes the manual. The Guru becomes the therapist. For what? For this particular feeling that I'm bound, through the deployment of words, the bondage is released. So that's the only way. What other way? For someone who is bit by a snake, and then you say, where is the snake bite? You don't find the snake bite. You make them take off their shirt, there is no snake bite. And then what? You say, okay, please show the snake. They'll go outside and show you a piece of ropes, conveniently in 3 bends. It is lying there on the grass. Or better still, they show you a hose pipe. That is the snake that bit me. What do you tell the person? You have to show them that it is not a snake. In fact, it's not enough to say it is not a snake. What do you have to say? It is indeed but rope. That's why it's called Aropa. Yeah. So, this is a rope. This is not a snake. And so, this way, the strange nature of this bondage and the strange nature of this delusion has to be understood in order to value the teachings. Because if the bondage is taken to be real, the teachings will not speak. And then you will feel, I have no desire for the knowledge because it's not helping me. It's not helping you because you have taken it as a reality. So that strange nature of this bondage has to be understood by your own logic. Like in the night, I don't feel bound. In sleep, there is no bondage. And then as soon as I wake up, the bondage starts. Because I wake up, I look around, and the person is sleeping next to me. Oh no, the bondage has started already. Oh, it's you, you are still here. And the bondage has started already. Or as I said, one wakes up, and then one sees the whole list of things to be done in the day. Oh no. Oh. So the bondage has started. So what kind of a bondage is it that starts at, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., whenever I am forced to wake up. And then that ends when I go to sleep. Then that which comes and goes cannot be real. What I want is real. Thank God this bondage is not real. So for the person who feels bound without ropes, a special kind of a talk is needed. A specialist is needed for this special person who feels especially bound and targeted by this world called samsara, and to free that person, the Guru has to use a lot of tricks in the form of words. Sometimes the Guru says, you come back tomorrow, I will free you. And sometimes the Guru says, oh, this is a very big knot. I have to study this and then I'll get back to you. In the meantime, just do some seva. You know what to do. My hands are tied, feet are free. Jump around a little bit. And then what? The third day, sometimes the Guru has to say, well, it's, both of us will do this together. I'll open from this side, you open the knot from that side. So what does that mean? You have to gain shamadama, uparati, tiksha, shraddha, samadhanam, that is your side of opening the knot. And then what? When the student gains enough maturity to know that the spelling of the knot is N-O-T. Yeah, not K-N-O-T. Yes, so that's the whole thing. So therefore, you can't say this is the only way, I should try other ways. Because there is enough, people peddling their wares in the spiritual market, saying that samsara is gone when you breathe in the moksha. Breathe out the samsara. Do this 3 times and don't you feel free? And you say, yeah, that's also true. Okay, that's a fee. $750 only. Because I showed you how to breathe in the moksha. So like this, so many things are there. Some people say, do bhajans, you bhajan your way out of samsara. You bhajan it out, you belt out some songs and then you will be free. And then you do this and you'll be free. You give up all your money, of course, give it to the Guru, then you'll be free. Because you can't take care of all this, that's why you're stressed. And so, how to have Vairagya? Give all your possessions to the Guru. And the Guru himself is saying, or herself. And then you'll be free. And then what? Stand on one leg, close off one nostril, stand upside down, which is recommended because we need good thinking. All the blood flow to the brain we need. But that's a method. That's a method for preparation. That's not the way to moksha. The way to moksha is like, it's not really a way, because the wayfarer is you, the way is you, the seeker is you, the sought is you. So the way to moksha is through knowledge, through understanding that I'm not bound. And for this I have to keep the desire to learn alive, because the desire to learn is very intrinsically linked to the desire to be free. Sometimes the desire to be free is there, but the desire to learn is not there. The desire to study is not there, because I'm not convinced that the study leads me to the freedom. So then I say, I'm not that interested. I'm just a casual Vedantin, So Upanishad has news for you. Upanishad says, there ain't no casual Vedantin. Because Vedanta is a quest of a lifetime. It's a lifelong quest. It's a wonderful quest. And if the desire for the quest is diminishing, so a little housekeeping has to be done. Starting with Anya Vacho Vimunchata. Yes, that is the duster. Yeah, little bit of, yeah. So, then the second meaning is what? The second meaning of Anya Vacho Vimunchata is stop looking for outs. Easy way out. This is the easiest. No, I want to go to Brahmaloka. You know how hard it is to go to Brahmaloka? Why is Brahmaloka eulogized? Because Brahmaji, the creator, Bhagavan is the teacher. Oh, I like that. That sounds good. Sitting in front of Bhagavan and learning Mundakopanishad. Fantastic. On cloud number 9, my reserved seat. I want to reserve a seat there. What do I have to do? You have to meditate for 12 hours. Oh my God. What do I do in the other 12 hours? I have to keep doing fire rituals. Stock up on ghee. That's all I can say. buy vats of ghee and sit at home, and half the day you do yajna, the other half the day you do upasana. When do I cook and eat? Not our problem, says the Shastra. You manage however you are going to manage, or drink some ghee in between. That's all. We're not concerned with how you upkeep your life. The only thing that we know is if you want to go to Brahmaloka and be taught directly by Bhagavan, this is what you have to do. Oh no, it's much easier to come once a month to class here. Okay, good. I'm glad we are in agreement. Same thing. Same thing you get. In fact, if you do go to Brahmaloka, then and this verse comes along, Anya Vacho Vimunchata, you will have nostalgia for this class. You say, oh, I've already studied there. Same thing. And sitting right in front of Brahmaji, Bhagavan, you will feel depressed. Not nice. Therefore, understand this, that you're getting everything right here. There's no other way to get this. There's no other place, no matter how much it glitters. Wear this and you will wear an amulet. Moksha amulet. All this I have seen. Moksha amulet you wear here or here. And then as long as it's touching your skin, you will have moksha. I don't know what it is. And gems and some things and some other ways. Breathe your way out of samsara that we've already discussed. Wear something, put something on, do something. It's all about doing. The spiritual, the peddlers of spiritual wares, they bank on the fact that one is addicted to doing. And they keep reproducing the doing and unfortunately keep samsara going. That's what is happening. It is very sad. And so, therefore, the Upanishad categorically says, Janatha, you have to know this. Tameva ekam atmanam, you have to know that Ishvara, that only one being in whom all consciousness, all knowledge, all awareness and all things rest. Just like the threads rest, the threads are the truth of the fabric. The fabric rests upon the threads, the skeins. Similarly, the whole thing rests in Bhagavan. Know yourself as not away from that Bhagavan, as one with that Bhagavan. And to that end, give up all other darshanas. I'm a spark, a perpetual spark. I'm a spark of the whole, I'm part of the whole, I'm a bit of the whole. Give that up, because why are you engaging in something that is useless? So this kind of talk is useless. It's going to detract you from your mission, from your vision, from your quest. And give that up. Second meaning. The third meaning is the meaning given by Adi Shankara. Adi Shankara says, Apara vidya vishaya vimunchata. Give up, not, the paravidya means the knowledge of the truth of oneself. Other than the knowledge of the truth of oneself, all other branches of knowledge must be given up. This is the traditional meaning according to the parampara, because in those days people were just addicted to even now actually, people were addicted to the first portion of the Vedas, and that's where they sat, that's where they stayed. They didn't come out of it. So you start, you were born with a ladle in your hand. Ladle for what? Yajna. Yajna ladle. That got passed on from mother to daughter, from father to son, from grandparent to grandchild, and and then you just had a permanent ladle in the hand for ghee, scooping the ghee into the fire. And then what? This is what it was. The whole thing was like this. It was just, it just kept people going, because the first portion of Vedas is a treatise of doing. Not, knowledge is there, but what's knowledge of doing? So the vak here is knowledge of doing. Leave that. Aparavidya, because it's not that you have to leave that right from the beginning. You leave that when it has already prepared you to seek. You don't go back and continue to do this. You know, it's like after graduating from kindergarten, you don't go back there. Does that mean you hated kindergarten? Does that mean it was useless? No, it was very useful. It taught me social skills, it taught me not to hold my toys, it taught me to play with other people, it taught me that if I hit another child there will be consequences, both in school and at home. It taught me a lot of things. But I have graduated. Now I am going into this place called first grade, which is a different, cup of tea. Then over there in kindergarten, all you do is cut things and paste things and color things. There's nothing much to learn, but that itself is the learning. That coordination and how to get along with people, some social skills, and knowing that there are other egos than my own, all this is a very important learning. But having learned that, there is no need to revisit that. So the first portion of the Veda is the kindergarten of life, where you pick up some skills. That's what skills, discipline, a certain kind of a decorum in leading oneself, values, attitudes, all this you gain. That's like the tuxedo that is worn, but not to stay at home. Nobody wears a tuxedo and sits at home. What are you doing? Why are you dressed so formally? Are you going out? No. Are you having a formal evening at home? No. Why? Just like that I'm wearing? No. All dressed up with no place to go. This is the place to go, which is the second portion of the Veda, which is really going back to the truth of yourself. So the first portion is a preparation and the second portion is the knowledge. And so Anya Vajo Vimunchatha means give up the penchant for all these branches of knowledge that are dead ends. Whatever you are pursuing, because really this one, once you know this, you know as well know everything else. This is what is the third meaning of the word what? Anya Vajo Vimunchatha. And why should I leave this? Amrita tasya esha setuhu. So this knowledge is the bridge between you and what you seek, which is freedom from samsara. Amrita here means immortality. This is what everybody wants. Even the bodies that are sent to the mortician, the people are told, the relatives tell, make my grandmother come alive. But while she was alive, she was in catatonic state, doesn't matter. Just when she is dead, she should look alive. They should look just like they are sleeping. Why? Because I can't handle death. It's not about the grandma. Grandma is happily gone. Yeah. I can't handle death. I'd rather look at a sleeping person during the viewing, rather than a dead person. Can't handle death. That's why it is illegal to post photos of dead people, in the newspaper and on the online. And sometimes people do things, horrible things, like they kill themselves on Facebook, and they do things like that. And then quickly the Facebook has to take down all these, because it's considered offensive material. Why? Mortality is the most offensive material. Yeah. Nobody wants to see something dead. Why? Starting with roadkill. Nobody wants to see anything dead. That's why the meat that is available that people eat is all packaged nicely in, you just see parts, you don't see the whole. And that's why you have to give it kind of euphemistic names. Otherwise, nobody will eat baby cow. Nobody will eat it. Baby cow means what? Yeah, that's why you have to call it something veal. Yeah, you cannot say baby cow, you cannot say goat, you cannot say all these things. And the meat is packaged so that you don't see that it's part of an animal. You don't see that. Otherwise, if somebody is told you're eating dead animal, it's not fun. So then you give it these fancy names and you treat it like a body part, some kind of a disengaged body part. You don't see the whole thing. Nobody wants death. And that's what shows that there is a collective desire for immortality. But the body, jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu, dhruvam janma mritasya cha, Bhagavan says in the Bhagavad Gita, that which is born is subject to death. So the body is born, the body is subject to death. But here is where Vedanta comes in. Here is the bridge. I am not just this body. I am life beyond all boundaries, including the boundaries of this body. I am not just this body. And so therefore what? Therefore, the body that is born will definitely die. Correct? Yeah. The body that is born will definitely die. There is no way that it's not going to die. But I have the firm knowledge that that was just a little as though container. I am free of this body. So then I am not so obsessed with this body. Correct? So therefore, Amrita is, and when I don't know this, I seek immortality in impossible places, in places which are definitely subject to time, subject to death. I seek immortality. And this is what is the problem. You seek to preserve that which is not preservable. And then, the quest is funny because that which doesn't need to be preserved is not even understood. That which doesn't need preservation, which is already Amrita. That's what it is. So Amritatvasya esha setuhu, this Atma Jnanam is the setu, is like a bridge. It's a bridge-like knowledge that bridges ignorance and knowledge, bridges mortality and immortality. The bridge from the ocean of samsara to the other shore. That's what, Adi Shankara will start waxing eloquent on this. He says, Mahodadhi, this big ocean of samsara with the snapping turtles and the yapping sharks and the whales and the seaweed and the riptides and the alligators and then the bottom feeders and all these things. And then what are you? Sam. Oh, that's your first name. That's the last name. What's the first name? Flot. Yes. Jet. So Jet Sam, Flot Sam, a piece of driftwood, drifting from here to there, all worn out, all the varnish is gone, the color is gone. I was the leg of a very prized table once, and then now what? Now that life has been tabled long ago. Now I am this piece of driftwood, no polish, nothing, and distorted piece of wood. I am just keeping on, don't even have the energy to reach the shore and can't give up this, sea of samsara, just sloshing around, splashing about. This is my life. And so get on the bridge of this knowledge, stay there. First few weeks you dry out, and because waterlogged, the knowledge doesn't go in there. Like the clay lotus. Where did we hear the clay lotus? Huh? The clay lotus that cannot open. Remember? Where? Kutra? Where did we learn? The students are like many lotuses, right? So, there was the wooden lotus, the casual Vedantin that refuses to stay in the water, bobs up and down and goes. And then there was the stone lotus, tamasic, sinks immediately. And the Vedanta teacher is like the sun that is smiling over the lotuses, but only the real lotus blooms. The clay lotus, waterlogged, glub, 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 sinks and then also vitiates the whole water and makes it muddy, right? And the wooden lotus bobs up and down, the stone lotus sinks, and the real lotus, the lotus opens to this knowledge. Yeah? Bodhasara. Don't forget. Bodhasara, very beautiful text. So like this clay, the waterlogged clay lotus. One has to have the willingness. Amritatvasya esha setuhu. This bridge means I'm willing to take the leap here. It's a quantum leap from mumukshutvam to jijnasutvam. From being a seeker of freedom, which everyone is, to a seeker of knowledge. And this mantra urges one to get on the bridge of knowledge and to leave behind the seeker of freedom, because the seeker of freedom has to morph into a seeker of knowledge. Let this morphing begin. So the waterlogged driftwood has to dry out, like even the clay lotus, because first it is so relieved just to be out of the water, it is shocked, it is, and then after that it is basking in the sun, it is no longer in samsara, and that knowledge itself becomes the bridge. Amritatvasya esha setuhu. Have we left out anything in this verse? Yeah. Atmanam anya vacho vimunchatha amritasya esha setuhu. Very good. Yeah. So it is like a bridge. It's not really a bridge because you don't require a real bridge. So the mortality is for the body, the mind, the senses. It is not for the eye. This has to be discovered to come out of the waters of samsara. And for that this knowledge is a bridge which removes the mistaken notions and repatriates you with the correct understanding of who the I is. Okay? So tomorrow Bodhasara, and then this afternoon Bhagavad Gita, 4 o'clock? Yeah. What verse we are on, somebody can tell me. And tomorrow, same time Bodhasara, and something is changed.
The weekend of on the 11th.
On Sunday the 11th. Tomorrow also I'll make this thing. Bodhasara will be at 8 o'clock. Did you change on live stream?
Yeah.
Yeah. You changed the time?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So you would have already got the notification. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Any questions? Yes.
You mentioned dissociation.
Yes.
What is the key? You said it was a very fine line to not step into dissociation. What is the key to not?
No, I said if we stop at I am awareness, then it's a very fine line between that and dissociation. So therefore the knowledge is incomplete. Just to know that I am not this body, mind, sense complex is not the whole vision. The whole vision is to understand and repatriate the I that has been extricated from the identification with the body, mind, sense complex with Ishvara, the cause of the universe. That's when the dissociation is not there. Yeah. Otherwise, I said there's a danger of saying, of dissociation. That's why in the Nirvana Shatka, what is it? Mano buddhyahankara chittani naham. I'm not the mind, I'm not the body, I'm not the senses. Nacha shrotra jihve, I'm not the sense of organs. Nacha ghrana netre, nacha vyoma bhumir, na tejo na vayuhu. I'm not the 5 elements from which these, sense organs have come. When that's only one part. The last line is Vedanta there. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I'm the most auspicious thing that there is, and I'm the truth of this universe, and I'm in the form of this chit, this consciousness, this awareness. That is what has to happen, That is the connection. You can't just say, I'm not this, not this, not this, then you're in a state of denial. Other questions? Yes.
Where's the line between the first half of the Veda and the second?
Where the Upanishads start. Yeah. Where it says there is nothing to do, nowhere to go, you are the, so the Upanishads. And also the line is difficult because some of the Upanishads happen in the first portion of the Veda. To give a little jump start to the ladle wielding, Yajna hog.
Okay.
Yeah. So like Ishavasya Upanishad is in the Samhita portion of the Veda itself, but then it is still Vedanta, you see, because it's got the word Upanishad in it. That itself is a key. Yeah. Good question. Or kya? What else? Anything online? Yeah, people like the sound. Very good. Very nice. We'll see you tomorrow. Anything to give out? Yes. Here.